What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over my DPS rotation for the new skills for the Frost Force Master. As you all know, we've got some major skill updates, and it's changed a lot of things in a lot of ways we're going to be playing our classes. So I'll briefly go over the skills and talents you want to use, the gear that you may want to change from, and the DPS, the rotation that I use to keep my DPS sustained. So first thing we'll start off with is the badges. So a lot of us Force Masters like to use the Destiny Mystic badge because of its pulse and its burst DPS that we use. You're not going to want to use that anymore if you're a Force Master. If you're a Force Frost Master, you're actually going to want to change to an older badge called the Pulse Mystic badge. And the reason you're going to want to switch to this badge is because it gives you 150 attack power bonus on Ice Beam and Arctic Blast on a freeze and cold effect. Arctic Blast is going to be your bread and butter for DPS damage. This skill only happens, you can only use this skill when your freeze and cold effect is active, and it'll allow you to spam it. So it's basically like Glacial Beam or Ice Rain, where it would only allow you to work if they were in your cold snap. You could spam it. So how do you get the freeze and cold effect to work? Well, there's 3 AOL skills that'll allow you to use your freeze and cold effect. Your first one will be your flash freeze. As you can see there, freeze and cold effect on enemies within range. Now, the next one you're going to want to use is your avalanche. That gives you another AoE with freeze and cold effect. And then your ice spike will also give you an AoE freeze and cold effect. Now, the way that I do my rotation is I start off with flash freeze, then I move on to avalanche, then I go to ice spike, then I go back to avalanche, and then if I have a weapon cooldown reset, then I'll go back to ice spike and then go back to avalanche. The reason I don't go back to this very often is because this AoE is not a targeted AoE like these two. These two will lock on and send the AoE to your target, versus this one is stationary. It only happens on your position. It doesn't rely on the enemy's position. And for an example, when I use it, it only works if an enemy's in this outer ring here. If an enemy's not in that outer ring, you won't get the freezing cold effect. So, enemies move a lot, so you have to rely on a good tank to keep your boss stationary. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you the difference in DPS between using the Mystic badge, the Destiny Mystic badge, and then your Pulse Mystic badge. And I'll sort of tell you my DPS rotation as we go. So we'll start off with Flash Freeze. He has to be in that outer ring. Then I'll move on to Avalanche once that wears off. And then I'll go to Ice Spike. Ice Spike is your longest DPS effect. By the time it wears off, your Freeze and Cold will be ready to go again, or your Avalanche, sorry. And we've got 438,000 DPS. Now we'll try that while using the Mystic badge this time. Avalanche. Ice Spike. By the time the Ice Spike's done, your Avalanche will be ready to go. So we're at 447,000, and that was probably the best DPS rotation as smooth as I could get it. I actually hurt my hand the other day, so it's kind of hard to keep my button accuracy good, but that's probably the smoothest DPS rotation that I would get right now. So now let's try it with the Pulse Mystic badge. You won't have to worry about using Shadow Grasp now that you're using your Pulse Mystic badge. Use Avalanche, Ice Spike. By the time your Ice Spike wears off, your Avalanche is good to go. And as you can see, my DPS started shooting up again to 488,000, and if the boss wouldn't have died, it probably would have continued to go up. So let's try that again to see if we can get a little bit higher result or a sustained result. Avalanche. Ice Spike. By the time your Ice Spike wears off, Avalanche will be ready to go again. And there you go. So as you can see, your DPS increased a little bit, but it's also sustained, and then also you see I had a weapon reset go, so I would have been able to continue with Ice Spike. I would have been able to continue with another Avalanche, then this, and then by the time this was worn off, Avalanche would have been ready to go again, and then most likely I would have gotten another weapon cooldown reset. One thing I will mention also for talents is you're going to want to have Cold Shoulder on, and Cold Shoulder will increase the duration of your Breaching Cold and your Freezing Cold effect, so it'll make your Freezing Cold last longer, so you'll be able to do that even longer. So that's pretty much what my DPS rotation is. Like I said, you'll start off with Flash Freeze because your enemy will be stationary at the first start of the fight because your tank should have them in one spot. After that, you're going to want to use Avalanche. Once Avalanche is about to wear off, switch to Ice Spike. By the time Ice Spike wears off, Avalanche will be ready to go again, and if you got a decent lock with your weapon cooldown reset, your weapon will reset. Use Avalanche again, then go to the Ice Spike, and by the time Ice Spike wears off, you're ready to use your Avalanche again, and then you may get another weapon reset. So that's my DPS rotation, guys, for the Frost Force Master. These two badges here help, like you get Mystic Damage, blah blah blah, for Avalanche. 240% attack power bonus on a successful hit on Ice Beam or Arctic Blast during Magnum effect. Creates Flame Warp. Trying to think here. Enhance. So Shadow Grasp. So wait a minute. Maybe you do want to use Shadow Grasp. Let's try. I want to see something real quick. Let's see if we increase it by using Shadow Grasp. Okay, so maybe you do want to use Shadow Grasp. Huh, the more I learn. Let's try that one more time, because I almost hit 500k there. Ah, of course I would fuck up on that rotation. Huh. Let's try that one more time. I wonder if Shadow Grasp was actually doing anything. Huh. Maybe Shadow Grasp doesn't do anything. But, like I said, this badge is going to increase your DPS more than this badge is going to. So I recommend using this for a longer sustained DPS and using this more for PvP. Any questions, guys, or any videos you guys want me to do, or any ideas, let me know, and I'll try and get them going for you. Thanks for watching.